Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kanica's World. I was having some technical difficulties once again. I am going to learn how to use this StreamYard as I come onto this platform so that for I can be able to start this program on time. So I want to say thank you all. If you tuned in last time, I was on here the week before last. It was my first time. And our subject tonight is student engagement after memberships. How do you keep students engaged after they apply for a membership? Or if they're affiliated to an organization or a society, or any groups that they attend, and even like sports, um, and after school programs. We have children and students who attend programs or want to be a part of the community, and sometimes it's hard to keep children engaged. Even our middle adult children, or what we want to call them young adults. Today, I am going to have my daughter, dear Cass, is going to come on and she's going to talk about some things that she is engaged in and her memberships or being a part of different organizations and how do she stay engaged. I know sometimes as parents, our schedule get busy and we have to reach out sometimes to other people to help us. Um, for myself, I know I have recently joined a family member that's close and dear to us that helped us with carpooling. Excuse me for 1 second. And with doing that, we know that trust comes into play, and we have to really take that trust level and our feelings and be able to um, take our responsibility level to another level with our spirit to say that we need help and ask for it and just hold on to it. So, with that being said, I want to say that this week we had a chance to experience the welcoming of the CIAA here in Baltimore, and we indulged into some activities over at the Middle Branch Wellness Center. And I might say that it is a wonderful center. Want to say shout out to Middle Branch staff and community over there for allowing those children to be able to use that wellness center and everybody that had hands in it. I really love the way those children was over there engaging into those activities, and we have a lot of people from out of state and that came to Baltimore this weekend, and it's going to be filled with activities. And we know how that can be when you got a lot of people in one space and mixed cultures in an environment. And that's how it is when we want the students to be able to stay engaged. And when I'm talking about students, if you are a student that's at any age level, then how do you keep your engagement and your membership up after, your engagement up after you become a member of an organization, even volunteerism? I know for me, myself, I do volunteer. I also I work in communities and I work with organizations. I am a Morgan State alum, and I have just became class agent for the class of 2018. So I have stepped up to do my service as being a class agent, and I'm going to follow through and hold it throughout to be able to keep the class of 2018 engaged, and hope I get a lot of people to come back and have dinner and celebrate. This will be in person this year. Um, so I'm gonna now take pause and invite Dear Cass on if we can see or hear her. Dia, I'm gonna introduce Dia and let her tell you a little bit about herself. Dia Cass is a 13-year-old, and I'll let you come on and tell people a little bit about yourself. And I'll let you know that there's an athlete as well, because dancers, she does dance. She cheering now. She was a jump roper, and she played a little. I'm sorry about that if it went blank a little bit. Dear, if you can hear me, can you unmute? Hi, dear. Can you hear me? You said yes? Okay. All right. Well, I have Diaz here. She's 13. As I said, she's an athlete. She's a talented young girl growing up in this teenage life. Um, and I'll let you go ahead and talk a little bit about you.
I did jump rope when I started doing jump rope when I was 10 years old, from probably 9. I was first into gymnastics when I was 3, moved up into dance, and continue to still dance now. And the fun fact about myself is that I have been acting since I was 7, and I was on my first really big production was on Lion King Jr. And the Broadway musical.
Awesome. So we're gonna go back a little bit because I didn't have you on the platform and we didn't hear the first part of your conversation. Once again, we have Dear Castle with us. She is my daughter. She has entered into being a teenager. She is an athlete. And what that looks like in her world is that she used to jump rope. She is now a cheerleader. She is a dancer, and she'll tell you a little bit more about some of the things that she was just saying about herself because we didn't hear everything that she said. And I'll go over again. And tonight we're talking about student engagement after membership. And we're going to a little bit with Dia, and she'll be able to tell us a little bit about her engagement after she signs up for something and how committed she is. And this is probably a little bit different than when I asked her to come on with me. She told me that, hey, I'm supposed to be doing the interviews, but tonight she is going to be the interviewee, but she can also interview me as well. So I'll answer her questions. Continue about you a little bit, dear, because we didn't hear the first part of you. My mistakes. As you know, I am getting used to be able to come on this platform at a committed time, but I having technical difficulties, and I'm gonna work it out with prayer. Thank you. Go ahead, dear.
So what I said before, hi, my name is Dia Kess. I'm 13 years old. And I'm a dancer, actor. Just getting into graphic design. I've been in modeling. I'm now doing cheer. And little things about myself. Like 3 things. Well, now new 3 facts about myself is that I was in gymnastics at first when I was 3 years old, moved up to dance. I'm still dancing. I've been acting since I was 7. And I was in a Lion King, like I said previously, I was in a Lion King Junior Broadway musical. And the last thing, nice fun fact about myself is that can't say was that when I was in elementary school, I did a fashion show, and I haven't really took that to like a bigger thing, but I do want to take it farther, and I'm also moving on to high school.
Absolutely. The one thing we left out, dear, one about one of your athlete abilities is jump rope. Dear learned how to jump rope with the kinder kids as her coaches, and she had a chance to meet the organizer of the Kinder Kids, the person who started that. And I'll make sure I get his name for you because it's very important that we remember Black people in Black history who began these programs for the youth. Did became an amazing jump roper from not just as a mom seeing her grow, but as her coaches leveled her up in every ability. So, can you tell us a little bit about that, about being a jump roper out in the community, and what did that look like for you? Oh, I think we lost Dear for a second. We're going to wait for her to come back in. And our title tonight is about student engagement after membership. So, what that may look like is that if we as students or you as a student sign up and stay committed to a membership of you find your interest in, how do you keep your engagement up? We have my daughter on 30-year-old dear. She lost connection, but she's going to jump back in. And the one thing that helps her with being engaged after she signed up for a membership, she often depend on her ride. So she has to have transportation by getting there. And I am her supporter, or as I stated at the beginning, that we have to trust in people as carpoolers to begin to help us travel along the way. And with that is saying that we have to understand that where that is and where it lies in the trust and the relationship building, that if we aren't able as parents to stay away from our 9 to 5, or leave our job and talk to our boss, and over we have clients. I know I have clients, and I have to reach out to them after they schedule an appointment and see if they're okay with me cutting my schedule, or agree to another day to help me. So therefore, I can be a parent, and they help me take another scheduled day and redoing the service. So we do have Dear back. Dear, thank you for coming back in. So what that we were talking about was her being a jump roper and what that looked like for her.
In the community, when I first joined, I was really little. I took the experiences as fun things. The one basics that I learned was scissors. And it was just basically moving my feet back and forth to the jump rope. I first learned how to pick up the jump rope and how to use it properly, making sure I didn't hit anybody, swing at anybody, using it as any type of weapon. I also moved on from that. I was a pretty fast learner at the time, so I moved on quickly, more advanced. After I moved on from the basics, I went on to level 1, and as in 3 years of me first joining, I was already moved up to level 5, which was advanced and almost there to the intermediate section. Also, I've been to a lot of their festivals, Kangaroo Kid festivals, which is so fun. They have amazing food, and the experience there was like really fun for me. I would be moved to different sections, different groups based on my advancement and where I was trained in. And we, at the end of the day, we will always put on a show and show different things. Me moving up for jump rope was not only just about jump roping but single. We also had double dutch, and that was really like super fun. We had this one trick called teleport, where it would be you would move the jump rope back and forth, and the person would stand in the middle, like right there where the jump ropes are moving, and you would jump in. It was like you're going through another dimension, and it was just super fun. All my shows that I have showcased in for jump rope have always been excellent, and even when I mess up, I always learn from my mistakes and move on forward.
Oh, I like that. Learning from your mistakes. I remember witnessing while I was in the audience seeing Deer jump rope while we were waiting. They were teaching Deer how to jump rope, and there was this amazing young girl that could jump rope, sitting in a sitting style. With her behind on the floor, and her legs were parallel to the floor, and they had two ropes, and they would take it like a double dutch, and she would just continue to jump with her whole body sitting on the floor but lifting her whole body up.
Yeah.
Do you remember what kind of trick or move that is called?
Yes, it's called butt double jump, and it's called butt double dutch. And actually, it's like you can do it with your single one, where a helicopter. I believe one girl in my group, she actually did that single, and she would just go around and around, and you would move on after you learned that to butt double dutch, and yeah, and you just really learned it. I personally didn't move on from that because I couldn't really get there and the techniques, but if I stayed a little bit longer, I'm pretty sure I would have got it.
Yeah. So one thing that happened was the pandemic happened, and that sport stopped for you. Cold turkey, I would say that we can't say if they're not participating, but what we do know, the kangaroo kids are still participating in their activities. And I know you love to go to those activities and you didn't never want to miss those. You even had me inspired by buying me a jump rope. Can you tell them the process, speak a little bit about the process of getting your own jump rope made? Because I know how I experienced getting my own jump rope made because I was excited. And when I got my jump rope made, I had my college colors in there because I just want to have something that was near and dear. And since I was getting my own personal jump rope, it was near and dear to me, and it was really special to be able to get that jump rope made for myself. So can you talk about that a little bit?
So me getting my first jump rope as a kid, I was at least 7 years old. I want to say 7 or 8. Um, and they were gave me a jump rope. At first, it was just their jump ropes, and they would take it back for me to first learn. And that was when I was in the basics class. Moving on to level 1, they gave me opportunity to choose any color I want, and I had a all red, mixing with some pink colors, also in there. And when I they gave me my jump rope, they let me put my name on there, and having that feeling of having my own jump rope made me think, wow, I have some power. I know that I can do this and that. And as soon as I got my jump rope, my own personal one, I just started moving. I was just going over there, going over here, everywhere. And they really saw like that bright light in me. And so once again, I was a child, I was little, and eventually I lost my jump rope again. And they gave me a new one, and it wasn't pre-made. Well, yeah, it was pre-made, but this one, it was red again with some white pieces in there. And I just was moving along, said I would not forget this jump rope again. I will make sure I have it with me, and I lost it again on a field and tried to go back, and it was gone. The last jump rope that I had, and I still have it till this day. They said, you know what? We're just gonna make you a jump rope because we just like keep losing it. We're just gonna make you one, and they made me one. It's all red now, all red, and it has some different ones in there. Has like a little bit brighter red in there, and I made sure I put my initials on there, and I said, you know what, this is mine. I'm gonna be responsible and keep this, and I still have it now till this day. I don't use it pretty much, but I use it here and there.
So tell us a little bit how that process is. how is the process of getting the jump rope made? Because that was exciting to me, because I know as a young girl myself, I we would just have store bought jump ropes, and I know I didn't know how to jump rope, how I didn't know how to double dutch until a friend of mine's mom taught me when I was 10. So tell us a little bit about the process of getting a jump rope prepared and how you use it and what how you use it and are you back there? I think you're frozen. Dear, can you hear me? Well, we'll wait till Dear to come back, and she's telling us how she was affiliated, and she stayed on the topic about being a rope, a jumper and jump rope, and that Kangaroo Kids as her coach. And before the pandemic, she was not able to continue in that program, but she was able to still use the jump rope that she had pre-made. So with that saying, staying on our topic of student engagement after membership and what that looked like for you, well, with her, she was stating that some of the things that she was doing out in the community is being happy about her being engaged into those programs that she loved to do. And those things are sports. And they look a little different, because I know sometimes we always believe that the sports that are out there mostly for our Black community is basketball and football, and that's not a bad thing. But there are other things that are in sports that are total fitness as well. When we can't describe some of those things, or they may not be into our in our community, that there's a lot of total body movement sports that can be implemented into our daily activity. Um, with student engagement, for me, um, as an older person, it looked different when I sign up for something. As I've stated, that once we become a member of something that we love or have passion for, we tend to want to learn more and more of how and what our purposes can be when we sign up for these organizations or we get ourselves into a membership. How can we serve? How can we be relevant? How can we make a difference? What else can we do besides just take a seat? Is a lot of things that we can do, and there's a lot of things that you can do, and how that looks to you is that you gotta just be able to just stay engaged. As I stated, the most recent thing that I'm able to do is become a class agent for I'm a alumni of Morgan State University. I'm a class agent for the class of 2018 this year, and I'm so excited. I am so excited because it's going to be in person, and we're going to have a luncheon and a celebration. And the class of 1973 is having this is their 50th anniversary. So imagine being in a room with college alumni who have served in the community, have done their due diligence, and out here um, doing good work, and being able to hear their stories is just fruitful to for me, and I'll be so honored. We have Dear Cass back, and we're gonna touch up just a few minutes more to let her continue to finish. Um, and Dear is very good will be able to sum it up in her 2 minutes, and we're gonna give Dear 2 minutes to some things up, and then we're gonna close it out. And we're very grateful that Dear was able to come on and being able to be on this platform, so therefore she can be able to tell about her affiliations and her memberships. So, Dear, can you sum it up? If she could come back on, she just having a bad connection. Um, so if she jump back on, then we'll let Dear to go ahead and continue um, to talk a little bit more about her affiliations and what that looks like to her. You can go ahead there.
We're continuing about jump rope.
Well, you can just sum it. You can just add in the things that you like to be able to. You can finish off with your jump rope, because we do want to know how the process of jump roping work. Being a jumper, because I know that as your mom, that I know, but others probably will want to know that how is that process, and what does it look like when you're getting a jump rope prepared? Because I know when you introduce others to it, they're like, "Huh? You just jump rope, right? You just
Yeah.
jump rope. So what are you talking about? Just jump rope." So go ahead.
So getting a jump rope made, like I said before, basics. You start to learn the basics, getting the movement of jump roping. You know there are different type of techniques, the different levels, and that it's not just all about moving a rope around over your body and getting it over there. It's also about critiquing your body, that you're not just jump roping, that there's also added on things such as cartwheels, front flips, any type of gymnastics thing that you can do with a jump rope. So moving on to basics, that's where you start for jump rope. You don't get your personal jump rope yet until you have learned everything that is in the basics, and you can move on to finally level one. Once you move on to level one, then you are able to get your jump rope, your personal jump rope. And then after that, you have your jump rope, and you don't get a new one until you have moved on to level four. Level four is when you get your new and improved rope, and you get to customize it and do all those fun things with that. Moving on to from level four, moving on to level six is when you get a new jump rope. And the reason you get new jump ropes is because you are moving on from the different levels, and so there's going to be some things that in there that are challenging, and also if you need a new rope, then you need a new rope. But also is that there's not just for that, there's also a practice jump rope,
Jump
and you
roping,
show jump rope.
and I hope she having a little connection difficulty. But yeah, dear, I'm sorry about that. You were cut off again. So I know you stated something about customizing. Tell us how that got started, because I know I was measured for my jump rope when I got my jump rope
Yeah.
customized. So go ahead and tell
So
us how the customize working.
they take just a regular piece of rope. They measure it from your foot all the way up into your shoulder. And the reason they don't do it up to your head is because your shoulder, this is where you're holding your rope. You're holding it right here among your chest area, and this is where you're holding it to swing it around, and you're not gonna swing it up here to your head. And so moving on from there, they let you pick your colors. You can either have four sets of colors or two sets of colors. I had two sets of colors, but some people can have four sets of colors. They don't have to all be the same color. They can be different things. So after that, your jump rope then gets made a week period. And because my practices were only on Saturdays, that Saturday that I ordered my jump rope, the next Saturday I got it. So it took a week for it to, because sometimes they run out of material. Then they give you a jump rope. You can write your name down on your handle, so that you can make sure. And then they would give you also a bag for you to keep it in. And so then after that, then you have your new customized rope.
So, dear, thank you for giving us all those tips and tricks about jump roping. And one day, hopefully, in the community, you'll be jumping again. And I know how your summer is, but a lot of other people don't know that. So let's talk about there's something recently that you done. You got a chance to do some interviews at the CIAA cheerleading clinic with the Black Mermaid. So shout out to the cheering clinic this Saturday. It was awesome to see all these people working in a
Yes.
community as an organization. Commissioner Jacqueline McWilliams Parker was there. These people were working out here, and shout out to all the youth that came out and was able to participate. Dear, tell us something about the cheer clinic. And I know as your mother, we were up early, but tell us a little bit about that and how that went for you.
So when I first got to the CIAA, it didn't take us long for the transportation. It wasn't that bad of a traffic. When I first got in there, we all signed in. I got a wristband actually, that said I was there for the sports clinic. Then I went upstairs to where the cheer clinic was, and I got a pink one for saying that I was there for the cheer clinic. When we first got started, it was so fun. We did some warm ups, stretches, and I wasn't there by myself. I was there with my cousin, of course. And we had mentorship from BSU cheerleaders. If you don't know what that means, Bowie State University cheerleaders were there to help us with our cheers and our dance. First thing we did was a dance, and it was so fun. We got to move and everything, and we just had a really good time with it. I actually talked to two other girls that were in another cheer group, and they were saying how Bowie State cheerleaders also came to their organization as well. And so after we did our dance, our first performance, it was really fun. We were in the I want to say gym. Yes, we were in the gym, which is also on the basketball court, and we were just doing our dance. And it was really fun. We got a shout out from the CIAA commissioner. Yes, commissioner. And she shouted us out on our great dancing. And then we went back for our round two. But not only did we cheer, we also got a time to sit down, talk about what is cheer to us. And me just joining in cheer not too long ago with my first coach and my stepmother and joining her cheer squad. It was really different people there that were saying cheer means this to me, but cheer also means this. And we also had Raven cheerleaders come and sit down and talk to us about what cheer was like for them, and them cheering now as Raven cheerleaders. And how did they get to that stepstone? What did they have to do, especially as Black cheerleaders, and not always being accepted into the organization
Mhm.
as well? And so we just had a really nice conversation and talking about how not everything is going to be a yes. You're not always going to be able to get in with that organization that you want to. There's going to be some no's, there's going to be some yeses, but you just got to work hard for what you want. And if you don't put in the effort to work hard, then you're not going to get what you achieved for. And so moving on from there, we went to practice our cheer, which was called Black and Gold. And it was representing for the Bowie State cheerleaders of what they learned. Black and gold is their cheerleading colors. And we did that cheer. And I actually, as a cheerleader, that caught on to me, and I just couldn't stop doing it from that day. And I just kept doing it from that day, and it was really fun, a great experience. We got to watch some basketball games there with the basketball players. There were girls and boys, girls going against the coaches, boys going against the coaches. We also had like a little dance contest. Moving on from there, we also at the end we got some candy bags, and we also got sponsors. Our sponsors were UA, which is Under Armour. We also got sponsors from Verizon. I believe there were a few phone sponsors in there. We obviously got sponsored by the city of Baltimore, and then they gave us Under Armour bags with had bobbleheads, Under Armour water bottle in there, and it was just like a really great experience overall, and the people there were just so nice and friendly and everything.
So tell us something about Kendra. So Miss Kendra Parker was able to give you a chance to do some interviews, and I know how you are about that because it was a good experience for you. So can you tell us a little bit about how when you are about to do your interviews and how did those interviews went? How did those interviews go for you? And did you do one interview or how many interviews did you get?
So I actually did 3 interviews. I believe 3 or 2. Um, and my interview went well. I prepped for previously prior to that day. And I wrote down my questions. And when I got there, I got to interview a BSCCAA chairwoman. Her name was Miss Dorian, I believe her name was. And I was interviewing her about her leadership. How did she get there, her position? Were there any milestones that she had to go through? Any walls that were blocking her? And basically, what are 3 goals that she set for herself? Career goals, I want to say that she set for herself. And she asked me, she was like, you came up with those questions? I said, yes. And she was like, how old are you again? I was like 13. She said, wow, you have a bright mind there. And I said, thank you.
Oh,
And so the second person that I also interviewed was a Raven cheerleader. Her name was Summer, and I got to interview her, and she just said that being a Raven cheerleader is not always just about shaking some pom poms and cheering on a team. That she actually puts work and dedication into cheering, and that since she was 3 years old, this is what she's always wanted to do, to be on that field and get the feeling up there. And we just had a good interview. I would say I was a little bit nervous, but I also just took ownership of it and said, I'm gonna do this. It's gonna come out great. I'm gonna ask these questions. And Miss Kendra, she said, she asked me, she said, "You got this?" And I said, "Yes, I got this." She said, "Okay." And after my interviews, I looked for her, and she was gone.
so she left you responsible and she
Yes.
felt that you were doing a wonderful job. Well, dear Cass, I'm going to say thank you for coming on to this platform today. Thank you for being my interviewee. Thank you for giving us all those tips about what it is to be, what it is like to be engaged after membership and letting us know how your perspective is when you're engaged into activities or being a member out in the community. I thank you so much for coming into Kanica's World. I hope you have a great night and I hope you are ready and being prepared for your next day. And as you told us in the beginning, that you almost a high school student. I wish you well and much blessings to you. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you for coming on to Kanika's World.